episode 14 of the Bottom Line Podcast. We're back, and we are here again, as always, with Antonio from Carolina Mortgages, Mike from Remax Experts, and myself, Luca from Remax Experts. Thank you all for tuning in. Today, we're going to talk about a couple different things, and one of those most important things, I think, for us at least, for Mike and I, is how to strategically market your property in 2026. I think that's a conversation that
Very important.
that doesn't happen too often.
No.
Everybody just thinks put some photos up on MLS and that's the end of it, right? But it really, really isn't. So we're gonna try to touch upon that. And I'm gonna kick it right off to Tony and ask you what we're gonna talk about in terms of mortgages today on this podcast.
The question of the day was it's a question that's every year and all the time. Fixed or variable?
Oh,
Classic. It's the classic one, but in 2026, there is a lot of strategy that needs to be put into place. So that's going to be the mortgage topic of the day.
let me ask you a question. We'll just get right into it. What's your topic? Let's get right into it, right? What is what are we looking at right now for a conventional fixed rate, let's say 3 year?
3 year, you're looking in the high threes,
High threes, okay.
right? High threes for a conventional. Sometimes it'll spill over four. But
Variable.
yeah, for variable, we can get you a prime -8, prime -9, and we'll try to get you as close as possible, depending on the date, to prime -1. But that number is coming down further,
Yeah.
right? It's already lower than the fixed, and we are forecasting that the variable rate mortgage will come down, right? Bank of Canada, they should cut rates. They should be. They should have already, and they should in
Whether-
2026.
I think we all agree that they should. Whether they should or they shouldn't,
Right.
my question would be, I know I'm putting you on the spot here. Do you think they will? And if they do, how far do you think they'll come down? Let's say till the end of 2026.
At least 1 point.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah.
At least 1 point total
Wow.
by the end of the
That's
year.
big.
I would.
That is
That's
I would
big.
project, right?
That changes a lot for housing prices. But yeah, go.
Yeah,
continue.
a lot. The numbers aren't good. The numbers aren't good, right? We had some at the end of 2025. We had some phony numbers in terms of jobs, right? Those were so skewed and
Where they get
so
those
misleading.
Yeah.
Well, they get them from part-time hires,
but
right?
seasonal,
Seasonal, right? Seasonal part-time hires during the
retail, yeah.
busy retail years. You have seasonal employment, with the snow removal and whatnot, those types of things. And it inflated the numbers, right? And speaking of inflation, like that, we just got more numbers. It's ticking up again, right? So the only tool that the Bank of Canada has to mitigate things is lowering the policy rate, right? So unemployment going up, and that number is also extremely skewed, and we all know that, right? Based on those little baskets that they give different weights to, right? Of within their calculation. So I think that we're heading for a period. It won't happen right away, and it won't happen all at once. But overall, I could see them cutting policy rate by at least 1% by the end of 2027, and that's what a lot of the forecasts say, right?
Really?
From the
So-
big banks too, right?
Yeah.
Is that what you say is like a healthy rate to be at around there, like that 3 in between that 3 to 4, or like 2 to 3? Is that
Well, historically, the 5 year fixed only had a 3 in it, maybe like 2 or 3 times over the last 30 years, right? So
But we're there.
if you're and we're there right now,
Yeah.
right? So, but the thing is, the policy rate of the Bank of Canada has to be reflective of the state of the economy,
Yeah.
right? So our economy is not doing well.
No.
It's not doing well, and you can see it in construction startups. You can see it
But-
in
Look at builders.
nobody's building. Nobody's building.
Nobody's
right?
building.
So,
yeah.
they're
it's
holding
a-
on to their inventory?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Or they're just sitting on their land.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's not impacting them. High rates don't impact a builder.
Yeah.
So they just wait. Hang on to it. They don't have to build. They're good, comfortable, right?
Yeah,
So
depending what kind of builder it is, obviously.
the big ones,
The
right?
big
Not the
ones,
Mickey
yeah.
Mouse, the big ones, right?
Yeah.
So, and that's who you're relying on to get the market moving, right? So, I really do think that we will be forced to see those rates come down, and if they don't, it's just a sign of bigger changes and intentions, from a
Yeah.
a higher level there, that they just want things to kind of crumble. I don't know why, but
Yeah.
that
Things
would
to fall apart.
yeah. There's no other explanation. There's no other explanation. They got to come down.
Yeah.
Rates got to come down. And so with that being said, in 2026, getting a mortgage and you could sustain it, and your appetite for fluctuations
Risk.
and
A
risk
little bit stronger. Yeah.
stronger, you have to
Stay
go variable.
variable,
You
yeah.
have to go variable. You have to go variable.
Yeah.
The 3-year fixed play is done. It's done.
Well, that was 3
That
years
was the
ago.
play. Yeah, that was the play for
2 years
that
ago,
kept you
yeah.
comfortable or whatnot. Not too long of a commitment.
But and I'm going back a little bit in time. But 2 years ago, you were telling people sign a 3-year fix, don't get into a 5-year fix
Because we know things are going
because we know things are going to go down. Now we're in that boat, right, where there's going to be a lot of renewals coming up, and people are going to be in a lot better position. I remember people were locking in around 5.5,
Yeah.
sometimes for 3 years, and that was good for the time. But now you're shaving at least a point, if not a little bit more off. So it was the right play for a lot of people.
Yeah,
That 2-3 year fix.
but that's why you have to be in connection with somebody who's part of the plan.
In
We have a
tune.
plan.
Yeah.
Do you think the people that got into variables in 2021 and 2022, they were around like 1.5%, and then they watched that increase that went up to what 6.5, 7%?
Yeah.
Do you think if they get into variable now and it does go up, do you think they're going to call you sooner now and want to switch, or do you think they're going to just try to let it ride out again?
It's really important. Like if they were my clients and there was a lot of education that happened along the way, right? In terms of this is what some of the risk was, and this is what could happen with this type of product. Um, will they call sooner? Probably, right? Will they call? We would have to have that conversation in advance as to where they're comfortable at. But if it's someone who's going to be calling sooner, we probably won't put them in that variable right anymore, right? So if that tolerance isn't there,
Yeah, it's all about risk, right?
and that risk tolerance is not there, we're not going to put them into that variable, right? So it's got to be a suitable product for each person. I would assume that if you had a terrible experience, you got that PTSD,
it's out of your system.
You learn from your
people
mistakes.
won't want to experience that again. However, the long-term savings of variable is well documented, and if you can ride out the ups and the downs, you're going to save long-term in terms of interest and overall cost of borrowing. So
historically speaking, variable's been cheaper overall.
yes, apart from this COVID period where we had that huge increase, in the later years, when back in Canada just kind of, cranked it up 4 points there. So other than that, if you get any 5-year period over time since the times that they've been tracking rates, you save go at variable.
He's reminding me of his post every couple months. 0.25 increase. It's
That was wild.
0.5,
Right?
0.5.
And they just started going, and when you add it all up, people's payments jumped
Yeah.
astronomically, right?
Double, triple.
Yeah. And what happened too was a lot of people don't know this is that when you're in a variable, you think you could just lock into the best rates, but you can only lock into the best available rate at that lender for a term that's greater than your remaining. Right. So if you're on a 5-year variable,
Yeah, that's very important.
It's
A
very
lot of
important.
people don't know that.
If you're on a 5-year variable mortgage and you're 1 year in, right? You can't lock into the rate you have. You lock into that lender. Let's say you're with TD, that lender's best 4 or 5-year rate.
Or
can't-
you break.
Or you break
pay
and
3
go somewhere else, but you pay a
months.
3-month interest penalty.
Yeah.
Right.
In some cases, it's worth it.
Yeah, that's where we have to
Obviously,
run the
every
numbers,
situation's
of
unique,
course, right? But that's stuff that people don't
factor in.
or maybe they're unaware.
And just to add to that, it's not always about the best rate. Like there's so many aspects to a product. Correct me if I'm wrong, but there's so many aspects to a product that are much more important to certain clients than just getting the best rate.
100%. If you are, for example, if you're planning on selling, your property right away, like you just want to get in, need somewhere, but you're open to selling within the first 2 years.
Yeah.
Why are you signing a 5-year fix?
Yeah.
Right. That is not something that you should jump into because your penalty is going to be astronomical.
Absolutely.
Right? If you sell with
Makes no
they
sense.
have an interest rate differential penalty, it could be 20 grand.
Yeah.
30 grand.
And this is why it's so important to make sure you're opening up front with whoever you're working for, right?
Yeah.
You got to put all your cards on the table so that they know the full picture, so that they can help you real estate and mortgage related, and even the lawyer who's going to help close.
It's a team, yeah.
Right?
You need to
It's
you
a
need
team
to tell your team everything.
Yeah.
That's gonna be my bottom line. But We'll get
I
to that.
think you'll need a new one now. You can't.
No,
say
I'll
it.
expand on that.
Oh.
I'll expand on that.
Okay, let me ask Mike a question. 2026.
How do you? Yeah.
Marketing strategies. People who are listing. Is it just take the photos, put it on MLS? Is there more to it?
Huh?
Well, I guess
That's
it
not what we
depends who
do.
you ask. If you ask us, no, it's not just that. But you might be able to ask some people, and you see the cell phone pictures on MLS.
Oh, those are the best.
and that's the end of it. But there's a lot to it. Mike, what do you think is very important going into 2026?
Yeah, main thing, and this is based off seeing what we saw in 2025 with list prices. We'll touch on this, but yeah, list price 2026 is going to be the most important thing. Obviously, taking your photos, we'll get into all that, but list price I think is going to be imperative.
Yeah.
In what sense? It's got to be
Pricing it correctly, pricing it to sell,
And not just pricing it correctly the first time.
Yeah, the first time. Don't chance it and price it 500,000 over what you're expecting. Okay.
I'm going to talk about
the
that.
rent one.
Yeah, because the reason
You're gonna get people's hopes up.
yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, I know.
And this is where we saw a lot of mistakes in 2025. And the problem is the market was going down every month, like getting worse and worse. And if you don't price properly the first time, you gotta now waste more time, reprice. And if you price not properly the second time, you gotta price it again. And as you're coming down or as you're fluctuating your pricing, the market's dropping.
Yeah.
And you're always chasing.
Yeah.
When you could have just priced it properly the first time, got it probably close to what you did want, and be done with it.
Yeah.
Now you're losing more money, thousands of dollars every single year, every single month. Sorry.
Yeah.
So for 2026, my main point would be price it right the first time.
Yeah. Very
Price
important.
has got to be right.
Correct.
Price is right.
The price right. Bob Barker.
What do you think, Lou?
Every time I hear the price right, I think of Happy Gilmore. When Happy Gilmore and Bob Barker go at it, I'm like, oh, what a scene. No, I think you have a great point there. Pricing it right the first time is important because you're losing money every day you sit, and it's not even that. It's the negative connotation that homes are going to have when buyers have all these options and they see, your price from let's just call it $2 million. You went to 1.9, then you went to 1.8, and you're at 1.7. It doesn't look good. People think something's wrong with your property. A lot of the time, people think, "Oh my God, I'm getting such a good deal. They were priced at $2 million. Now they're priced at 1.7." Sometimes that's the case, but a lot of the times, people think there's something wrong with that property and nobody wants to buy it. That's why they keep reducing the price. On the flip side, if you priced it right the first time, you'll have action, you'll have inquiries, and not always, but most of the time, that correlates to offers and sold prices, right? So very important to price right the first time. I'll also say this. Your home needs to show in its best light. It's incredibly important to have those little things done. Patching any holes if there's any holes in the wall, painting, updating your light fixtures, your curb appeal. Think about it this way. If there's 5 homes for sale on your street or in your neighborhood that are all very similar, cookie cutter homes, right? Same square footage, whatever the case may be, and there's buyers looking, they're going to be attracted to the one that's most appealing, obviously. The one that had the pride of home ownership, the one that didn't neglect anything. It's incredibly important. And to build off of that, to have the right photographer, videographer, shoot your property in this day and age, very important. You can have a beautiful house. Yeah, it's huge. We see it all the time. You can have a beautiful house and it can show terribly on MLS. And you got to remember, that's your first impression, right? If it's not showing well on MLS,
you're not going to get them in the door.
Yeah, you're not going to get the attention you deserve. Let's put it that way, right? And I think that's incredibly important.
We noticed this transition because I think when there was 6,000 homes in the market, not that it wasn't as important, but it's okay. It was flying off the shelf, so it didn't matter. So I think real estate agents and maybe even sellers didn't see the importance of it. But now, as there's more competition, as Lou said, there's 5 houses on the same street for sale. People are going to notice that. It's going to make a difference for sure.
Big difference.
100%. So price it right and then stage it essentially, or
make it show in its best light. Pride of home ownership. Neglecting the little things will kill you this year. You need to make sure, not gonna actually kill you, but it's gonna do some damage to the bottom line. Make sure that it's showing in its best light. It's very important. Very important. And
so is that's something from the seller's perspective, or is it something that your realtor can kind of take initiative with? And
so the good thing is, Mike and I both work with buyers and sellers, so we see both ends of the spectrum, right? and this advice is for the sellers, obviously, right?
Mhm.
But we're with active buyers every day
So
in
you
homes,
look for
and
that
we
stuff.
see,
Yeah.
yeah, of course. I mean, any good agent will, right? Any good agent will. So if your agent has your best interests at mind, then definitely they're looking at that stuff. It's important,
Mhm.
and you'll notice it too as buyers, right? You'll feel it right when you walk into a home. Like, yeah, this home was taken care of, and it's incredibly important in this day and age for this real estate market right now. Yeah,
I love it. I love it. So let's wrap this up with a little bottom line all the way around.
Let's do it.
We'll start with Mike.
perfect.
All right. Bottom line, target this towards the sellers this year. Don't get greedy with your pricing.
Yes,
Speak with your agent. To agents as well, stand your ground and do your homework. Know your comparables in the area and tell your sellers like this is how we should price because this was going to move your house. That's my bottom line.
yeah, and I'll build off of that exactly what I said.
Your bottom.
Making sure there's no neglect in your house and making sure all the T's are crossed and all the I's are dotted and your home shows in its best light, it's only going to help you. It'll only help you in the long run when you sell, and you'll reap the benefits for sure. And yourself?
Sounds like you guys are saying you got to work with the right person,
I
right?
think
So
so.
and like have a plan with your realtor. So that's like I was saying, that's going to be my bottom line. My bottom line is tell your realtor, tell your mortgage agent, especially your mortgage agent, everything.
Yes.
Tell them everything. Do not withhold information. Let them know your plan. Let them know your income situation if it
Put the
changes.
cards
Or,
on the table.
like, do not withhold information because it will cost you in the long run. So my overall bottom line is tell your professionals everything, whether it's your
What they
realtor
need
or
to
your
know.
mortgage agent. Tell them everything so that you can create a proper plan for moving forward.
Awesome. That's
Stuff,
episode
guys.
14, guys. That was great. A lot of insightful information from all of us for 2026. We hope you enjoyed it. We'll be back soon. Till then, take care. Have a great day.